Hi everyone, welcome to the LynnCAM TV Show. I'm your host Cassie Vitali, and joining me today are Kate Luchini, Brian Denahy, and Carla Scheri. And all three of them are working in the Downtown Lynn Historical District, and it's considered now a cultural historical district. Can you talk a little bit to people about why that's a big deal and how that came to be, Kate?
Sure. A couple of years ago, the city, led by EDIC, went to the state, and the Mass Cultural Council has a program to designate certain areas of certain towns as cultural districts. And initially they wanted to give some kind of funding with this, but then it was 2008 and not the best economic time, but they did designate spots as cultural districts. So, led by EDIC, Lynn went for this designation. We were one of the first 5 towns and parts of a town in the state to get that designation.
So that's really huge when people hear that. I mean, because Lynn has a lot going on, but to be recognized, and to be recognized when only a handful are being picked, is a big deal. I know you are the executive director at the museum, and you do a lot downtown already with your organization. Carla, I know you're with Centerboard. Brian, I know you've been involved downtown, even going back to when you were younger with Raw Arts, and now with this project. Can you talk a little bit about who got involved at that point and how they were able to come together for this?
Yeah, it was actually a very rigorous process to be selected by the Mass Cultural Council. They came and they did a site visit. A lot of us were involved with that. They evaluated all of the cultural resources that are within the city, from the auditorium to the restaurants, places like the Lynn Museum, Centerboard's Vision Space Gallery, and so forth. So they really wanted to be sure that we had enough pieces in place to get this designation. And one of the great things that the City of Lynn did is that they pulled together a committee of leaders of these organizations, people involved in the arts somehow, and in cultural entities downtown, and they created kind of a steering committee that still is together and working on developing the district. So for the past couple of years, we've really had a strong, united cultural steering committee going, and that's been a lot. We've been able to start branding the district and doing programming and kind of bringing it alive that way.
Okay, so initially, was it the EDIC that heard about this and sort of came and said, what do you think, to some of you?
Yeah, EDIC led the charge, and community development got in quickly, and Raw Arts was involved, Centerboard, the Lynn Museum, Lynn Arts. And now we're expanding to include things like St. Mary's High School and North Shore Community College. Lynn Auditorium was involved, certain restaurants. So it's really been, we're trying to take it from just the civic organizations and the arts organizations, and also expand to small businesses and individual artists as well.
It's really exciting. I mean, I think that for all of us here, I know at LynnCAM, is something we would want to be behind, because of the fact that we understand that there is a lot going on in Lynn, and there's a lot of good things going on in the city. What made you, Brian, and then also you, Carla, want to get involved when you heard that this was a project that was going on?
Well, I started my first introduction to Downtown Lynn. I went to Raw Arts for 2 years in high school. So that was like the first time I really hung out down here, and it was pretty cool, but I mean, there wasn't much else to do as like a high schooler in downtown. So so then this past semester at Salem State, I was involved in an internship program with Kate, and the reason I chose to do that one was because it was involved in Downtown Lynn. I had some history with Raw, so that's how I got involved, and then got hired on after I graduated. Pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So
Internship survivor.
Yeah, so I won Internship Survivor. That's outlasted.
And, you must have done a good job.
Yeah.
They wanted to keep you on.
Strong social media skills.
Yeah, so now I'm helping out with the social media and some of the website stuff, and some of the programming too, and just getting everything organized and hopefully getting the ball rolling on some future projects.
Well, I think it's really cool that you, after being downtown as a high school student, chose to try to come back while you were a college student, in Salem, where there's all these different options, and you chose, I want to go back and I want to be downtown, I want to be with Lynn Museum, which is a hidden gem, if you will. Just like if someone's not been to Centerboard or if someone's not been to Raw, they're kind of like hidden gems. So I feel like this group will help people to recognize that these things are there and that they have an energy where they're working together. So now, Carla, when you were at Centerboard and you heard about this, what was your driving goal with getting involved?
Well, I think first of all, I'm a native Lynner, so I grew up here and have great memories of being here when I was younger. And then I went to college and I left for a long time, but kind of always kept my eye on things. And so when I moved back recently, I was really interested in getting back involved, because I feel like Lynn has a lot to offer, and there are a lot of hidden gems. And I think it's kind of cool to be able to be a part of something like this, where you're trying to revitalize a city, you're trying to create unity, collaboration. So when I got my job at Centerboard, I kind of was having that kind of background of arts and music and event planning and such. I was kind of tapped for that. And then when the district came around, I kind of was just a natural fit to get on the committee and represent Centerboard, but also my own personal love and passion for Lynn is really what drives me to really just kind of make it happen. So
do each of you feel like that this process is going to do for Lynn, hopefully, what other communities have seen through similar types of projects? Like, I think of places where people are, that have a lot of young people, that have people who are coming in to sort of like keep it going and expand what types of things are happening downtown. And I know, like, you think of Cambridge, or if you've been even like Somerville, I've gone and seen some things over the years that have kind of changed with the arts coming in. How do you feel that this really can help Lynn to benefit?
Yeah, there are other towns. Somerville has a cultural district. I believe Cambridge has at least one, Central Square in Cambridge. And they certainly are farther ahead in some ways than Lynn is. They have so much more kind of cachet already.
Close to
it's a city,
right.
A big city. But I think, one of the things we identified in the steering committee at the very beginning was that we all felt that Lynn was a city on the verge. And that was one of the ways we kind of defined it. And it's on the verge of all these great things. It's here on the ocean, it's close to Boston, the waterfront's getting developed, you've got North Shore Community College growing and expanding, Salem State's, making moves to come into Lynn. It's got the train. I mean, there's so many pieces in place. The auditorium brings record crowds, the Blue Ox. I mean, there's a lot of pieces. So I think when you start putting it all together, you start to see the possibilities. And it's great to have people like Brian coming back to Lynn, younger people who have options. They can go to Salem, they can go to Cambridge, Somerville. But to see that kind of young energy is terrific.
I know that there's other groups too downtown. You can hear about them like on Seth's page, Lynn Happens. A lot of people know Seth and know that website. And then also the Downtown Lynn Neighborhood Association. There's all these different groups. And as those groups are forming, you can probably kind of work together on different projects and different things. I know that he's someone who moved here, and it makes me think how you're saying some of the younger people, like, they have options as to where they could move, but there are things like loft apartments and historical places you could live that here are much more affordable than in Boston, and yet it's a 10-minute ride and you're in Boston. Do you feel like the people who are looking to move here will also be able to really add to this?
Yeah, and I mean, actually, Seth is one of the committee members. He's been great. We've worked with him all year, last couple of years. He's solid. I mean, and Corey Jackson from Arts After Hours is also on the committee. Really a great group. And we've met with Soraya, who's Nest Forward. So we've thought about folks moving in and what we can offer, realtors to help, sell the area. And I don't know if you guys have anything else to add about that. But
yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. And I also think one thing that the committee has really done for us is to create this cohesion and collaboration, which of course is key on any huge endeavor that you're undertaking. You have to have everyone working together. And at least this way we're at the table every week. Everyone really is invited to join in, whether you're a resident or a local artist or a small business owner, to kind of offer that feedback and ideas. And all ideas are valid. And it takes a lot of people moving and pulling on the same rope to really get this done. So, and I think that is key. Affordable housing close to a city where people are getting priced out of Boston left and right. And it's really just a matter of getting the word out and attracting people here. But then, of course, to keep people here, you need the restaurants, you need the theater, you need the cool things happening. That is adds marquee value to where you want to live. So,
I mean, do you feel like when you talk to people, maybe in your case, for example, when you're at school, do you feel like, or when you were at school, excuse me, do you feel like there's people who haven't been to Lynn, and so they really just have no idea what it's like?
Yeah, and then there's also the people who have been to Lynn or grew up around Lynn, and they're like, oh, Lynn has a museum, oh, Lynn has an auditorium, it's just a matter of informing people what Lynn does already have to offer, and then you get those people involved, and they'll hopefully help take it to the next level.
What about for people who are involved in different, like, multicultural organizations? Because one of the things that has always stood out to me about Lynn that does make it an interesting cultural place is the diversity. When you have all these different groups of people, you know, that are both moving here, but also there's organizations, you know, when people are coming to Lynn for the first time, coming to the U.S., does that, like, sort of get incorporated in some of the things that you guys are looking to do?
Yeah, it's something that we are very keenly aware of, and I think that we're trying to make some strides in that direction. We reached out early on to Francis Martinez and the Latino Business Association and some groups like that. And we, you know, we want their involvement in whatever way they're able to be involved. And with most people, it's just a capacity issue. You know, how much are they able to do? But everybody's welcome. And one of the things we've talked about, we reinstituted Third Thursdays this summer, which was great.
Third Thursdays.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We did the pizza cook-off and everything else. And we talked about ways to make those kinds of events particularly more multicultural, but from a genuine place of participation from these groups and not, you know, kind of laying our own agenda on top of it.
I mean, you see all the diversity of, like, restaurants, because you mentioned restaurants. So when people do come to an area like this, maybe for a show, they may then also see, you know, a Dominican restaurant. Maybe they've never had Dominican food. They can have some excellent Dominican food in Lynn. If we talk about it for too long, I'll get hungry. So, I mean, there's really, like, a lot of good stuff in the city as far as, like, learning about other cultures. So I would think that that will play a big role in your stuff going forward.
And really, what would be interesting is if we could create some sort of cultural ambassador type of position, that there's one person that's a point of contact for everybody to go to, and that one person can kind of be out there putting the word out. Because I think that's also part of the issue, is that maybe people don't even know that this is happening in their own town. You know, so for to kind of gap the cultural divide, I think is really important.
From a social media standpoint, because we're going to go to break in a minute, but I would like to know, when you're putting the word out, are you finding more and more people who are coming to the pages because now they're hearing about it through the internet?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we do a lot of great cross-promotion of, like, Centerboard's events, or if other stakeholders like RAW or anybody has events, we'll do a good job of promoting it for them. So I find that, like, when they share our events and stuff, we definitely get a lot more involvement. So,
And,
I mean,
I'm sorry. You're on Facebook?
we're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
And Instagram, okay.
At DTLCD. Kind of a mouthful, but
No, but that's all right.
you get us there.
And I know it's up on the screen under your name there. I think, you know, it's good for people to be able to take a look online. The Instagram is a great idea because obviously
It's a
when
lot
you
to
have these
see.
events, there's
Yeah,
pictures. Or if
absolutely.
someone's thinking coming to Lynn and you show the picture, that will help draw them here, I think. That's the whole, have people heard about it? What do they know about Lynn? A lot of the people I hear that say the wrong things about Lynn that are inaccurate are people who've never been. And it's
Yeah.
like, how can you really know a place if you've never seen it with your own eyes or, you know, walked it yourself? So we are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk some more about this wonderful organization, what it means for Lynn, and the events they have coming up.
Chill out when you're stealing my things. I wouldn't have to raise my voice if you would just give it back and stop being like a criminal.
I don't have your cell phone.
Oh
I don't
God,
have
look
your
at
cell phone.
yourself. What are you offering?
Is this a thief's uniform? You see all these people standing around here? Why am I the one? Why
I'm
are you
sorry,
singling me out
homie.
right now?
Okay.
What?
Don't make this a big deal. Just give it back, okay?
Did you see me? Did
Yeah,
you see
you
me?
know, I just know you took it.
Where are
Look
your
at yourself.
witnesses?
Look at
Where are your
yourself.
witnesses?
What?
Did you see me? Did you see me?
Hey, you left us in the bathroom.
He was born right in his green hands. So cheesy.
Ready is my middle name.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Thank you for joining us today at the LynnCAM TV Show. We are talking with 3 wonderful guests about the Downtown Cultural District here in Lynn. And when did this get granted from the state to be considered, to be deemed a cultural district?
It must have been March 2011. So it's been coming on 2 years.
I know a lot of people might think, wow, that's like a while. I didn't know, but I will say, from working from the ground up, obviously, it's not that long. It goes like that. So as you're, building up this organization, you're trying to get more people involved. What are some of the ways that people can, right this minute today, get involved?
I think one of the main things is coming to an event. Coming to one of these shows, an art exhibit, a cultural facility, coming to visit the museum, go and eat downtown, and then share that experience with people. We really all believe that you're going to have a positive experience. I think most people do have a great experience downtown, and they're starting to share that. And since it's really a grassroots organization, I mean, there's no entity that is Downtown Lynn. We just do it collaboratively. That's really the way we're going to get some traction.
I do want to put up on the screen for you the map of where the district is so that you can get a better sense of what it encompasses. So it's all those blue streets that represent the heart of it, right? Okay.
Yes.
So for people who are wondering, I mean, you mentioned some of the organizations there. I know, for example, Lynn Arts got mentioned. Jen Ashworth does an incredible job over there. I gotta give her a little shout out because she works very, very hard.
She does. She's
just
terrific.
like each of you, she works very hard. And you're all very passionate about what you do. One of the things I would like to ask you is to talk a little bit about the organizations that you work for. So, in your case, Carla, with Centerboard, if someone doesn't really understand or know what Centerboard is, can you let them know a little more about it?
Sure. We actually, Centerboard is more than just an arts organization. We have a pretty robust volunteer program. We do financial stability classes. We also are a homelessness prevention agency, which is how Centerboard started. We try to get people that are currently in shelter placed into stable housing and assist in that transition, and then also give them support and stabilization as they move forward, which is, all of those things are very important. And our focus, our mission is focused on the revitalization efforts with everyone else. So we're just trying to contribute to everything that's going on, and we view those things as being key pieces to the puzzle, and we like to get them all working together. So our volunteers will work at gallery openings, and some of our families, of course, we invite them all to the gallery openings. Oh, we also have an education program where we're giving out thousands of free books to kids in Lynn weekly. Most of the schools, we have a big red bookshelf in our lobby. So literacy is key as well. And we just try to kind of keep them all moving together, because I think it's all of that is important towards the mission.
I think it's incredible. You're talking about working to prevent homelessness or to help people who are in those situations. Do you work in conjunction, for example, with like the Lynn Shelter Association in Lynn?
We do.
And you do things with them?
We do. Mm-hmm.
And then, so that gives you that partnership, like what you're saying, for all of the people who are involved at Centerboard, but also all these organizations can be
absolutely and try to work together. And another cool thing that we try to do is, of course, there are lots of children that are in these families, so we offer free art classes. We have a recording studio in our building where anyone can come and record with our adult mentor, who's an awesome musician by love. He does something else by trade. And so we just try to kind of offer up, hope, but also skills and empowerment, so that people know that they can move forward, and it's just not this hopeless situation, which it does seem like a lot of the time.
Well, and I think the arts always are something that contribute a great deal to people's lives, more than some people may realize. I think you see that with young people, you see that with people who maybe are going through something difficult. I know Raw Arts with the youth, not just the teenagers that go there, but even the kids, and having teenagers who can help the kids. What was your experience a little bit about Raw for people who haven't been? I know we've talked to them before, but what?
It was really good. I mean, I went there my junior and senior year in high school. I did the film program, Reel to Reel with Chris Gaines.
It's very good. We've played some of your videos from people from that program. It's great.
But I mean, my experience was great. I met a ton of kids from Lynn, a ton of people I wouldn't have met, like from backgrounds I wouldn't have met either, because I'm from Swampscott. So I mean, it was nice to meet people outside of my little town, you know. So I mean, I had a great time, and it was definitely interesting, like learning the art side of everything. But Chris had a way of like tying it in, so like the skills you learned there, you could carry on with you, you know.
That's another thing, though, that you make a great point, is that the things you can get from these groups, these organizations in Lynn, how enriching they can be and how far-reaching they can be. You know, Chris is extremely talented. You know, the people that I know, like yourself from Centerboard, you running the museum and having the different programs that go on there that bring people together. I mean, someone may not realize, but you're getting training from people who are very good at what they do, and you're getting to be a part of something, you know, really profound. When you're at the Lynn Museum, like for example, coming up, you have the exhibit that had been at the Smithsonian, The Way We Work. Those kinds of things, how do they impact the community when you have something like that? Do the schools come?
Yeah, the Way We Worked is a great example. It's actually up right now. It's going way too fast because it's down on December 1st.
Oh, wow.
It's a Smithsonian traveling exhibit. You're very knowledgeable. And it's been terrific because we were able to get some grant money to bring the exhibit. And one of the things that we offered to do, because we got that grant money, was to have every school kid in Lynn or any other town come for free.
Awesome.
Students are always free to the museum, but we just decided to drop any kind of tour fees, anything during the run of the show. And the school system, we partnered with them, and they offered free busing for the schools, which was great. So we've already had over 1,500 kids come through the exhibit just this month alone, in the month of October, and we have just as many planned for November.
That's excellent.
And those are kids, you know, most of them have never been to a museum. They didn't necessarily know that there's a museum right in their town. So it's been a really great, it's been a really positive experience all the way around.
You have a lot of young people in the city who come from families that don't have necessarily the means financially or just with travel to do those things for their kids. So when you're doing this to help them and when you're getting these grants, I'm sure that feels good to know that the whole community is kind of helping these kids learn. Speaking of grants, are you currently working with a grant that I know Kate had mentioned? And can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. It's extremely exciting. We got a grant from NEFA, which is the New England Foundation for the Arts, to do more public art in Central Square, where the big photos are on the side of the bridge, which is also a Centerboard thing. And so it has several different elements, of some of which are undecided, so I don't want to go into that part, but what it has been decided is a mural project. So on the Mount Vernon Street side, those archways that kind of go down the street, well, the first 4 have been marked out to be murals, hopefully cool murals. And the request for proposals just went out this week, and we're super excited, and it's open to Lynn artists and New England artists, North Shore artists, Western Mass artists, whoever can kind of come around and be present and take part. And I think that what's exciting is the grant will allow us to put 4 different artists or artist teams to work. You know, and that's really important for art. You have to give artists opportunities, and you know, to be able to pay artists to do their work is huge. So we're pretty excited about that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we're actually winding down in the show already, and so what I wanted to do is mention about some of the events that you have coming up. So we can put that information on the screen, but if you could just talk a little bit about what each of these are for us. How about you, Brian? You want to?
Yeah, so the first event we have up there is the Lynn Arts annual holiday show and sale. So in their main gallery, there will be craft items, art items like paintings and sculptures. And it's also all for sale. It's from November 16th through December 21st. And
I believe they're still looking for more.
Yeah, they are actually still looking for more art.
Oh, okay,
so
great.
if you know anybody who's making cool art
Anything.
items, making anything, bring them on down to Lynn Arts, and hopefully you can sell some.
And then you've got you have a holiday event at the museum. Do you want to mention about that one, Kate?
Yeah, we've done a couple of beer tastings in the past, history and hops, and this one is going to be a holiday version. So it's holiday hops at the Lynn Museum.
DJ Seth.
Seth Alvin's going to be DJing,
Nice.
which will be great. We have a couple of local breweries coming, and we were hoping to get a couple more. We're also getting pizza donated by local places, and we're going to have some arts and crafts people as well.
And then Carla, Benjamin Loves Santa.
Yes, that is our Small Works art show at Vision Space. which is on Saturday, December 7th from 6 to 9 p.m. Basically, just kind of a cool show. Come on down, pick up some gifts for the holidays, and have some fun.
All right, well, I want to make sure everyone knows where they can find the three of you as far as your work. So I know the Lynn Museum, obviously, if you have something you want to find out, you can talk to Kate. Carla is at Centerboard, which is across from City Hall downtown. And social media is how I'm going to direct you to find Brian, if that's okay. And so basically take a look at, you know, what they have going on, look online and learn more about it, and please feel free to get involved and reach out to them. Thank you so much for your time and all the work you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Thank you.